Attention bowlers, we are going to get started from Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire. Welcome to the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. This is Cheryl Kneeland at Bryan Hebert. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Good as always to have you along with us. Again, my name is Steve Kelly. I'll be your host, narrator, and guide during this Class E North match between today's challengers. And we'll start out with Cheryl Kneeland down on lane 24 at Lakeside Lanes, and she's off to the right of the headpin with a generous drop, though, to start out. That is the 1 and the 2 pins on the deck. Cheryl Kneeland with a straightforward spare opportunity here in the first box. See if she can start out with a mark. She gets by just a little bit off to the left of the headpin, leaving the headpin on the deck. Cheryl for the 10 box. If she fires, she'll get the 10 to start out this match. So again, folks, my name is Steve Kelly. I will be your host, narrator, and guide during this match today. It's good as always to have you along with us on this sunny Sunday afternoon, October 6th, just a little past 2 p.m. This broadcast should have subtitles and live captioning enabled. If you enjoyed this feature, please feel free to enable it in the controls below. If you're watching this broadcast on YouTube, the transcript feature will also likely be available. And that's Cheryl Kneeland's just a little bit off the headpin with an interesting mix of pins. The 1, the 4, the 7, and the 9 are on the deck. Cheryl Kneeland just wearing purple shirt on lane 24. Bowlers will bowl 5 boxes at a time before they switch. And Cheryl Kneeland with the spare, the spinny spare on an interesting leave. But that puts her at 20 and a ball after 2. We are off to the races. So folks, throughout the match, I'll be describing the play-by-play action, as you can already tell, and we'll provide up-to-the-minute scoring based on the data I got, and to the best of my ability. Keep an eye on the unofficial scoreboard on your screen. Is here for the benefit of the broadcast. The bowlers maintain their own separate book records separately, and that's a 1 fill on that spare for Cheryl Kneeland. A bit of a misfire and a wild pitch off to the right in the back right corner. I may occasionally pause to verify scores if things seem out of sync. I appreciate your patience when that happens. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, there also may be times where I may include notes in the description if things are caught in post-production regarding errors or whatnot, so please check that if there are any. And anyways, back to checking in on Cheryl Kneeland. She'll take a 9 box after that 1 fill. Unfortunate fill with a decent follow-up shot. Probably wishes the second ball was the first. But Cheryl's at 30 after 3. That is confirmed. And folks, I'll also do my best to add chapters to the YouTube description later on YouTube. So if you want to jump to a certain point in the game or watch a certain bowler bowl everything all the way through, you can jump around. That will be later on YouTube. And that's Cheryl Kneeland still off to the left, out of the right of the headpin, leaving the left side 4 horsemen and the 9 pin on the deck. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. Those are the pins Cheryl is shooting at. And Cheryl is just a hair off of the headpin. And she's left with the 1, the 7, and the 9 pins for a 10 box. That is a story for Cheryl Kneeland here, nearing the end of the 4th frame of the first game. The first game of 5 on the tour. That's a 9 box for Cheryl Kneeland. She's at 39 after 4. So we are at Lakeside Lanes today in Manchester, New Hampshire on exit 1 on Route 101 in Manchester, New Hampshire. I like to think of it like you're going to UNH from 293 but decide to go bowling instead and veer off the first exit you see on 101. That's Cheryl with her first headpin shot and split of the day. And that is the, my goodness, what even is that? That is the 4, 5, 7, 9, 10. When bowlers get headpin shots and splits, I will have little visual indicators next to the current box that they're on to highlight when they are and are not on headpin shots and splits, just for some visual indicator funsies. So Cheryl Kneeland is shooting for the 7 pin for a 10 box. And it looks like that will likely be a fouled 9, based on the gestures I'm seeing down there. And that will finish Cheryl at a confirmed 48 after 5. In this first of 5 here, Cheryl is halfway done the first game, and we're going to say hello to Bryan Hebert now. For the first time today in this match at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire, Bryan Hebert, Class E North Division 2, has started out so far, after 3 matches played, a season record of 8-34. And he has an average of 95.5 so far. Those have all been away games. This is his first home match of the season, technically, even though one of those away matches were in Manchester here at Lakeside. So Bryan's just off to the head pin by a little bit. He's looking to spare it up, and he's leaving just the head pin after that attempt. Gave it a solid try, but just couldn't quite take the last pin. Bryan for a 9 or a 10 box, and it's going to be a 9 box to start things out. It will be 9 after 1 for Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert, seasonal high single so far is 112. Seasonal high series 494. With 5 strikes, 19 spares, and 29 tens. His perfect box percentage is 35% for the season thus far, and that's Bryan just off to the left of the head pin a little bit with a bouquet of pins in the center. Down there on lane 24, we have the 1, the 5, the 3, the 8, and the 9 pins on the deck. And Bryan's just off to the right. No mark. Bryan Hebert, seasonal total pins of 1432 so far. And Bryan punches out 2 more, and he'll take a 7 box. Bryan is at 16 after 2. In sync with the CompuScore score system at Lakeside Lanes. Recently, Bryan Hebert faced Jonathan Reed at Lakeside Lanes here. It was an away game. It was also covered by me. He took 2 points with a 494 series. Bryan is with a strong punch on the left of the head pin. He drops 6. The 1, the 3, the 9, and the 10 are on the deck. Still no head pin shots for Bryan as of yet. He's shooting for a spare on this. The 1-3 pocket should cascade out to the 9 and 10. But he just misses slightly to the left. Crossover got him a little bit there. Bryan Hebert for the 10 box, or the 7 box minimum. He'll take somewhere in the middle. It looks like it's going to be an 8. 24 after 3 for Bryan Hebert now. So against Jonathan Reed, Bryan had a 105, a 97, a 100, a 106, and an 86 with 2 strikes, 5 spares, and 14 tens. Bryan Hebert's all-time high single is a 158. He bowled that at the Putnam Street King of the Hill tournament. Well, I say the, but they have it regularly. That's a head pin shot and a split for Bryan Hebert on the board. That is the 7, 9, 10, 4 on the deck with a piece of wood across the 4. 2 pieces of wood across the 4, in fact, double buffered. Bryan is likely going to have to play something off of that wood. Hits the wood, and that was allowed to clank on the wood. Takes out 2, leaves 2. 9 and 10 are on the deck for a 10 box for Bryan Hebert. Hebert fires. He'll take 1 out. He'll pick a stick. He'll take a 9. That's 33 after 4 for Bryan Hebert. That is confirmed. Cheryl Kneeland's 48 after 5 is also confirmed, in case you needed to know. Bryan Hebert, opening ball, the 5th frame. Slightly off to the right of the head pin. Takes out just some pins in the right half. He's looking to spare it up. Hebert fires, and I heard him say nope the second he released it. Ball drifted to the right, went into the void. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 are on the deck. And he'll punch out. Looks like it's going to be a 5 box for Bryan. That'll put him at 38 after 5. And that is confirmed. So Cheryl is at 48 after 5. Bryan Hebert, 38 after 5. They're evenly matched for head pins and splits so far. Cheryl has a fill total of 1 so far, averaging 1 per mark out of 1. Makes it real easy to count and calculate. So yes, we'll say hello to Cheryl Kneeland for the first time on lane 23 today. Cheryl Kneeland, Class E North Division 2. Last year she was Class D North Division 1. She has a season record of 22-20, positive record after 3 matches. And she has a season average of 97.9. home average of 95.8. Cheryl's on the head pin with a bouquet of pins to the right. The 5-6-3-10 is what she's shooting at. Cheryl. Ball was a bit of a misfire, crosses over to the left, and no dice, no mark. Kneeland for the 10 box. It's going to be a 7. 55 after 6 for Cheryl with 2 headpin shots and 1 split for the day so far. Cheryl has a high single of 118 for the season so far and a high series of 527. Her away average is 100 while her home average is 95.8. Cheryl just off to the right of the head pin. Drops some pins. Cheryl versus the center bouquet. She's on it, but she leaves the 5 and the 9 on the deck. Cheryl on the 5-9, and she'll take it for a 10. 65 after 7. That is confirmed. Cheryl would like me to note that her all-time high single is 161. Fun facts. Cheryl's home house is Boutwell's in Concord this year. She's just off to the right of the head pin, dropping the 6 pins, leaving the 4 horsemen right side. She's looking to spare this up, the 1, the 3, the 6, and the 10. She'll take the 3, 6, 10, leaving the 1. Cheryl has 5 strikes, 22 spares, and 30 tens for the season. That's a 10 box for Cheryl Kneeland. 75 after 8 is where she stands. Cheryl Kneeland has a perfect box percentage of 38%. Seasonal total pins 1479. Most recently, I have a note that Cheryl faced Chris Salmons in round 3, taking 4 points. That's a head pin shot and an 8 drop for Cheryl. It is the 4 and the 8 on the deck that she's shooting at for a spare, with a piece of wood in between the 4 and the 8. Kneeland fires, and she'll take a spare. That's her second spare of the match. Hopefully it won't be a 1 fill this time around. It's 85 and a ball. Confirmed for Cheryl Kneeland. Cheryl took 4 points against Chris Salmons in round 3 with a 473 series. 1 strike, 6 spares, 6 tens. Cheryl on the fill. Just a hair off of the head pin. That's a 5 fill. Hey, it's 4 more than 1. 90 after 9. 4 horsemen left side and the 10 is what she's shooting at for a spare, no wood. 1, 2, 4, 7, 10. Kneeland fires. She's just off the head pin by a hair to the right. No mark. And she'll clean up everything but the head pin for a 9 box that will finish Cheryl Kneeland at 99 after 10 to conclude the first game. The 99 restaurant for Cheryl Kneeland. So that's the first game for Cheryl, at least. We're going to say hello to Bryan Hebert now. Once again, first time on the other lane. Second half of the first game. Bryan's home lanes are here at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire, though Bowling Acres Grill in Peterborough, New Hampshire is technically closer to him. That's a 7 drop for Bryan on the head pin. Triangle on the left, the 4-5-2. Hebert fires and he'll get the spare. Defeats the triangle, 48 in a ball after 6. That is confirmed. Hebert on the fill. He'll lemon drop it. Does what Cheryl did in a way. Takes out the 6-pin and only the 6-pin. Second ball's a little better, right on the head pin, a little bit too full though, leaving the 2-4-7. Hebert for the conclusion, 7-box minimum, and 7-box it will be. 56 after 7 for Bryan Hebert. He has to get to 99 or better to take points. Bryan's opening ball to the right of the head pin. Takes out the left and the right halves. 1, 2, 5, 8, 9 are on the deck. Hebert fires. He's on the head pin on the 1-2 pocket, but keeps the 5 safe. So he's shooting for a 9 or 10 box now. It's a bit of a wild pitch off to the right for a 9 box. That should put him at 65 after 8. That is confirmed. Bryan is currently 2 for 8 on head pins. One of those 2 head pin shots up in splits. Bryan's off to the right. Drops 6. It's the 1, 2, 4, and 9. He'll spare it up. On the 1-2 pocket, Bryan is at 75 and a ball and 9 versus second spare of the game. And much like Cheryl, he's definitely aiming for something higher than a 1 fill at this point. Hebert fires, and that's a 4 fill, oddly enough. Punched out the right side and took a few extras. Tried to spare it up, but no such luck. The 1, the 6, the 8, and the 10 are on the deck. He will clean up for a 9 box for 88. 88 to 99 is the first game total. Cheryl Kneeland will win the first game by 11 over Bryan Hebert. And we will be switching over to the second game here. Stay tuned for some exciting ACST action here on this Sunday afternoon at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's great to have you along. Saying hello once again to Cheryl Kneeland. Lane 24. Cheryl Kneeland fires on the head pin. Or not on the head pin, sorry, to the right of the head pin. Drops 6, the 1, the 2, the 7, and the 10 are on the deck. Kneeland's on it. She was on all over the 1-2 pocket, but the 10 pin just didn't go. Deflected piece of wood that was kind of in the area of the 10 pin, but no dice. Kneeland fires on the 10 and gets the 10 for 10 after 1. So this is the ACST match format. Each bowler bowls 5 boxes at a time, and it's a 5-string match. You can get up to 14 points per match if you shut the opponent out. A lot of the time it works out to be something like 10 and 4 or 8 and 6 or something of that nature. Cheryl will drop 6, leaving the 4 horseman right side. It's the 1, 3, 6, 10. And Kneeland won't get the 4 horsemen. She takes 2 of the 4 out. And Kneeland will take 1 more out for a 9 box. So to continue that thought, so each string 1 is 2 points. If you tie, it's 1. For the greater total pinfall at the end of the 5th game, it's 4 points. 2 points if you tie. Kneeland on the head pin dropping 7. 3, 6, 10 for a spare shot. Cheryl will take the spare off of the 3, 6, 10 for 29 after 3. Here's Cheryl Kneeland's stats for the season. Currently she's 22-20, season average of 97.9, high 1 of 118, high 5 of 527 for the series, or for the season, that is. Cheryl Kneeland with a half Worcester right side, and that's a 2-fill, 31 after 3. Kneeland goes for the spare, but is off to the right. No mark. For the 10 box, she'll take a 7, middle of the road, for 38 after 4. Cheryl is currently 4 for 14 on the head pin, with only 1 split so far. Cheryl is not on the head pin, but gets a generous mix of 7. The 1, the 7, and the 8 are on the deck. And the pitch. She's on it for the spare. That puts Cheryl Kneeland at 48 and a ball after 5. That is confirmed. Cheryl victorious over Bryan Hebert in the first game, 99-88 by 11. And now we're going to say hello to Bryan Hebert now. Lane 24. It's off to the left of the head pin. Some pins are on the deck, some pins are not. That's all I can say about that. And Hebert takes all but the 1 and the 9. And he'll take 8. So here's Bryan Hebert's stats for the season. So I'm not talking about positions just yet because some bowlers are still low in matches played. 6 and 22 for Bryan Hebert so far. He's had a bit of a rough start to the season. So Bryan's on the head pin and drops 9. 4 pin is what he's contending with. But he misses the single, unfortunately. He'll miss the second and get the third for a 10 box. 18 after 2 for Bryan Hebert now. This is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's great to have you along with us. Bryan's on the head pin once again. 4 and the 10. 4-10 split. He plays the wood on the 4 a little bit too low. Or too high. I always forget which of the two it is. No mark. And no 10 either. He'll take a 9 box. 27 after 3. Hebert to the right of the head pin with a generous mix of 6. 1, 2, 7, 8 on the deck. Hebert misses the head pin, but takes out everything else. We'll take a 9-box for 36 after 4. So after 4, Bryan Hebert trails Cheryl Kneeland by 2 in this game, 36 to 38. And she's to the right of the head pin once again. The 1, 4, and the 8 are on the deck. It would be great if you could get a spare off this, something to sit on, similar to Cheryl. And he'll just miss it slightly. And he'll finish with a 9-box. That puts Hebert at 45 after 5. Cheryl Kneeland at 48 and counting after 5. Cheryl's working on a spare. On the head pin, and will it be a strike? It will be. Cheryl's at 68 and a fill. Cheryl is on the head pin and a split with a spread eagle for the first ball. And she gets by, but gets a generous 7 fill out of the deal. 3, 6, 10 are on the deck. Ends up being a 9-box, 84 after 7 for Cheryl Kneeland. Hope you're enjoying this match. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Thanks for watching this Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour Class C North match between Cheryl Kneeland and Bryan Hebert. And that's a 5-drop for Cheryl off to the left of the head pin. 1, 3, 6, 10, and 8. Cheryl gets by the left with no mark. For the 10-box, Cheryl will run down the horseman, but leave the sleeper for a 9-box for 93 and 8. That is confirmed. Lakeside Lanes is located right off the Massabesic traffic circle after taking exit 1 on 101 and adjacent to the Massabesic Lake. Lakeside Lanes, that's 24 lanes, all wood lanes, all wood approaches. And that's another spread eagle for Cheryl Kneeland. On the head pin, but 2 full, 4 pins down. Cheryl will take the right side and part of the left side. 2 and the 4 left on the deck. And she'll get by for an 8. Cheryl 7 for 19 on head pins. 3 of those 7 head pins have been splits. The majority of those head pins have been this game. Cheryl is off to the right of the head pin. The 1, 2, 4, 8, 6, 10 are on the deck. And she will spare it up. Not strike it up, spare it up. She runs that down. That was actually really a fantastic ball. So she's at a 4 mark 111 and 1 ball to go. That will be a 4 fill after all said and done, just off the head pin. But it was a good string for Cheryl. She's bowled a 115 and a 2-game total of 214. Now Bryan Hebert in the game has to make up 70 pins to tie. He's got his work cut out for him. Hebert drops 5. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. Little full on the 1 and the 9, leaving the 2, 4, 7. And Hebert will clean up for a 7 for 52 after 6. Lakeside Lanes opened on November 27th, 1959. He's nearly the same age as Lita Lane, said roughly 64 years. Bryan crosses over to the left, takes out 3. Takes a few more out. No mark. 1, 5, 3, 10 are on the deck. And to leave the 5 pin for a 9 box. 61 after 7 for Bryan Hebert. Hebert having trouble finding the head pin in particular. 4 out of 17 for head pin shots. And Marks is a similar story. He's only had 2 so far, 2 spares. Hebert fires. He's on the head pin that time, and my goodness, are you seeing this? That was a head pin shot, but he leaves the 5, 3, 8, 9, 10, if I'm not mistaken. That's a weird split. Piece of wood along the 3 and the 5. Bryan plays it, and he leaves the 8, unfortunately. And to leave the 8 on the deck for a 9 box, 70 after 8. According to Lakeside Lanes' About Us page on their website, quote, rigid specifications of construction and the highest standards of official bowling regulations required that the wood be level to the width of 40 out of 1,000ths of an inch. This was so precise that setting the wood alone required more than a month's time. And Bryan is off to the right of the head pin on the first ball, and the second ball misses everything again. But he'll clean up for a 6. 76 after 9 for Hebert, so Cheryl will take the second game at this rate. Even a triple strike at this point is insurmountable in terms of Hebert's deficit in this game. He'll try anyway on the 1-3 pocket. triangle 7 drop on the left side. 4-5-2. And he gets by. Ball has this kind of C-shaped curve and tails by the triangle. And he'll miss again for a 7. So that puts him at the end of the game, 83 to Cheryl's 115. That is confirmed. 2-game total of 214 for Cheryl Kneeland. 2-game total of 171 for Bryan Hebert. Cheryl taking both games so far. And we're going to come back to the third, come back at the third game here. Cheryl Kneeland on lane 24 at Lakeside Lanes. This is Cheryl's stats again in case you missed it. She has a perfect box percentage of 38%, seasonal total pins of 1479. Just off to the left of the head pin. 4 drop. 7-10, 1-3-6-9. Kneeland is on the head pin, but a little bit too full, leaving the 6 and the 10, no mark. Kneeland stays on the deck, but takes 1 out for a 9 box. 9 after 1 for Cheryl Kneeland. And in case you missed it, up in the top left corner, here's how to read the scoreboard. On the left and right side represents the points, match total, and game total. The center is about the leads and the deficits in the gray, game, match and game, respectively, with the bowler's initials at the top. Cheryl is just off to the left of the head pin in the back corner. Kneeland takes a few more out. The 1, the 2, and the 10 are on the deck. Kneeland cleans up for 10, 19 after 2. And to finish that thought, also on the main scoreboard, we have head pin and split indicators to the left and the right of each bowler's score tower. And of course the symbols for strike, spare, 10, and double strike when applicable. Double strike means 20. Strike is 10 and a fill, spare is 10 and a fill, and X is 10. And Cheryl having trouble finding the head pin, dropping 5. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. No, 1, 2, 4, 7, 6, excuse me. Shaw will run down the 4 horsemen left, but leave the 6 on the right. And Cheryl will take a 9. 28 after 3 for Ms. Kneeland. She has 1 strike and 5 spares, and is 7 for 23 on headpins today. Cheryl's first ball is off to the right again. Drops 3 in the back corner. And she'll get some backdoor action, leaving the 1 and the 2, but no mark. That'll be a 9 box for Cheryl, 37 after 4. So here's Class E North's division layout. There's 2 fewer divisions than the other classes for E and F specifically. And Cheryl and Bryan are in Division 2 for the Class E Northern Conference. Cheryl on the head pin. Dropping 9, leaving the 6 on the deck. It was a good ball on paper. It kind of looked like a strike when it was still exploding. That's Candlepin for you, folks. And Cheryl gets by on the wood that wasn't near the 6. But she'll clean up for a 10 for 47 after 5. 47 after 5 for Cheryl Kneeland. 2.5 game total of 261. So the benchmark for Bryan is a 47.5. To stay on pace. Would help if he got a few extra pins as well to make up for the previous game in terms of the total pinfall. And we had a bit of an issue with a pin setter, a bit of a delayed pin setter for whatever reason. We're at Lakeside lanes today. 24 lanes of all wood approaches and all wood lanes. Multiple times voted WMUR's Viewer's Choice Best Bowling Alley. Right by the Maspesic Lake and plenty of food options all around. There's also the Dairyfield Country Club nearby if you want really good food on Sundays when there's football, such as today. Hebert on the head pin, leaving all but the 10. Piece of wood around the 10, but it's out a little bit out front. And there's another piece of wood behind it. Playing either one is a possibility. Hebert will choose to play the back one, which was, in my opinion, more of a safe bet. And it paid off. So Hebert is at a spare after 1, 10 and a ball. Hebert's 7 for 21 on the head pin today. And he'll drop 6 on that fill. Not on the head pin, but a decent mix. The 1, the 4, the 7, and the 9. And he's on the 1, but somehow he takes out all 4 pins when I thought there was no contact made on the 7 pin, but it went anyway. So Hebert's now at 26 in a ball. Hebert trying to get up that global fill total and average, which is a little bit low at this point in the match. And Hebert, wow, look at that. He wasn't on the head pin, and he got a fill of 3 off of that. My goodness. 1, 2, 4, 7, 6, 9, 10 is what he's shooting at. And he's off target to the right, takes 2 more out. Kind of deserved more than that based on the hit, but it also wasn't on the head pin. But Hebert will at least clean up for a 9. I was just waiting for the pin to finish settling. He's at 38 after 3. That is confirmed. In case you missed it, Cheryl Kneeland is at 47 after 5. That is also confirmed. We're watching the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. That's Bryan Hebert down there in the dark navy blue shirt on lane 24. It's on the head pin and takes out all but a chunk of pins on the right side. Hey, Verizon checkmark on the right side, 5, 6, 3, 10. Hebert fires. Hebert is a little bit off target, takes the 10 pin and the 10 pin only. Hebert will take 1 more out for an 8 box. He's at 46 after 4. Hebert is 8 for 24 on the head pin and 3 for 24 on splits. Totaling 14 in fills and averaging 3.5 per mark with 4 spares and no strikes today. Well, I say that, and now there's a strike on the board. There's a hammer ball, a rack ripper. Bryan Hebert's now at 56 in a ball after 5, meeting the benchmark set by Cheryl Kneeland of 47 and then some. 2.5 game total of 227 for Bryan Hebert. Cheryl Kneeland now in response, and, well, everyone needs a good practice ball now and then, and that's probably the best I can describe that one as. She drops 1 on the 7-pin. Second ball is a little bit closer to the center, but not by much. She takes out the 2 and the 8. And Kneeland will connect with the center, but only get 2 pins out of it. Just like a 5 box. It's 52 after 6 for Cheryl Kneeland. Cheryl Kneeland on the head pin on the 1-3 pocket. She almost gets a strike, leaving the 4 pin on the deck. Four-pin, single-pin spare opportunity for Cheryl Kneeland. And she'll get it. She'll take that spare. 62 in a ball for Cheryl Kneeland in the 7th. Thanks for tuning in to the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, the best place to watch some of the most exciting Candlepin matches from a wide selection of bowlers from all skill levels. And Cheryl, my goodness, she's having trouble with that first ball. She half whisters the left side, taking the 2 and the 8 out for a 2 fill. Kneeland's on the head pin, but just dinks out a few more pins. 5, 7, 10, 3, 6 is what you're shooting at. Kneeland will take 2 more out for a 7 box. 71 and 8. Excuse me, 71 in 8. 1 strike, 6 spares for Cheryl Kneeland today. 9 for 28 on the head pin. Taking in 31 bonus pins on fills. Cheryl off to the head pin to the right this time. One, 2, 4, 7, 5, 8, 10 are on the deck. And she's to the right of the head pin, and it was a good shot on paper, but she leaves the 5, the 8, and the 10. 7 box minimum for a 10 box. Cheryl fires. She's on the 5 and the 8. She'll take a 9. Kneeland on the head pin, leaving the 2, the 5, and the 7. That's a split. Piece of wood in between the 2 and the 5. Kneeland's on it, and she'll take it. 2-5 pocket pays off. She's at 90 and 10 plus a ball. Cheryl's final ball of the 3rd game. It's going to be a 6 fill, leaving the 1, 3, 7, 10. That should put her at 96. For a 3-game total of 310 for Cheryl Kneeland, that's an average of over 100. 103-ish average by my mental math. Bryan Hebert on a 3-mark 56, plus a fill on that strike that he got in the end of the 5th. We'll find out the results of that fill now. Thanks for watching. And Hebert's on the head pin. Almost gets a banana split, but doesn't quite get it, which was a good thing. 4-7 on the deck. The 6 and the 10 fell late. Hebert gets a spare on strike. 76 and a fill after 6 for Bryan Hebert. Hebert 1 strike 5 spares. 10 had been shots out of 26. And yikes, that was a bit of a misfire of a fill. Stays on the deck, but takes only the 10 pin out. Second ball's a little better, but not much better. He takes the 6 and the 9. Hopefully not a 3 box here in the third ball. Let's take a few more out for an 8 box. 85 after 7 for Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert on lane 23. On the head pin, he's almost a strike. Will it be? God, that was a magnificent ball. Definitely a rack ripper from back here, and the 7 pin was touched. It was wiggled, but single pin spare on the 7 for Bryan Hebert. I hope he gets this. It'll be a great highlight reel if he does, and he does. 95 and 8 for Bryan Hebert and a ball. Hebert filling a spare. He's on the head pin, and oh, he deserves so much better than that. Hebert says, WTF was that? It's a three pin fill spread eagle. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. Tries to play the left side and kind of gets what he gets. 5 box or bigger. Take one out. Weird 6 box from Bryan Hebert. The first ball, he definitely deserved a little bit better than that for sure. So Hebert's at 104. He'll take the third game. Still has one box to go. He's trying to make up for the total now. He's down by 35. And that first ball is a misfire off the right of the head pin. Takes out 2. 6 and the 9 were taken out, and the second ball is on the 1-3 pocket. And he leaves the 4-5-7. Hebert will take one more out for an 8 box. That will put him at 112 for the third game. 112 to 96, that is confirmed. 3-game total at 283 for Bryan Hebert. Starting to get on track after 2 openers that were 88 and 83s, respectively. This 112 kind of got him back in the game and gave him points at least on the board. Cheryl Kneeland has been rocking it with a 3-game total of 310, 99, 115, and 96. So that's the story up to the third game. Moving on to the fourth game now. We're going to say hello to Cheryl Kneeland once again. In case you missed it, here's Cheryl's stats once again. Class E North Division 2. And Cheryl has 1479 seasonal total pins. And here's Cheryl Kneeland opening ball of the fourth game. Lane 24. It is a 7 drop, the 7-8-10. Had been shot into split for Cheryl Kneeland. There's a piece of wood way out in front of the 7 and the 8, but it's at an angle, and that's probably your best bet to take out the 10. So Cheryl will have to either cap it or maybe attempt to redline it. Both are kind of risky moves, but second ball is the trick shot. She'll cap it. The cap actually saves the 7 and the 8 pin, leaving the 10. And Cheryl will clean up for a 10 box. Cheryl Kneeland at 1 strike and 7 spares. She's taken in 37 in additional bonus pins for the fill, averaging 4.6 per mark. Compare that to Bryan Hebert, who's averaging 4 per mark with a total of 28. Cheryl is on the 3-pin. Awkward mix. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6. Cheryl will nearly spare it up, but she'll leave the 6 on the deck. And Cheryl will clean up for a 10 box once again. 20 after 2 for Kneeland. Cheryl crosses over to the 1-2 pocket. Nearly gets the strike. Pause for some lane minutes. Pin rolling out of play. So folks, if you think this is your thing and you think you want to try this sport out, go to candlepin.org and click Go Bowling to find your nearest center. That's my suggestion. Not all centers are shown on the map, but I'm sure there's one nearby you if you're in New England. Check it out. Candlepin.org. Click Go Bowling. Cheryl on the 9-pin. She'll take it. Kneeland perfect so far this half and this game. Wow, that's going to be a 3 fill. To the right. God, what even is that? To the right of the head pin. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10 are on the deck. No wood at all, if you could believe that. Cheryl will attempt to spare it up, but leave the 7 and the 9 on the deck. And Kneeland will take a 9. 42 after 4. Cheryl is 12 for 34 on the head pin today. 35% completion percentage. Cheryl was talking about her all-time high of 161, and one of the boxes was very similar to the one she just threw, where it was the right idea, but pins just didn't fall. Cheryl's to the right of the head pin, drops 5. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8. Or the 4 horsemen left side and the 8 pin, if you're into terminology. Kneeland will take 2 more out and leave 3. That'll be an 8 box for Cheryl. That puts Cheryl Kneeland at 50 after 5. 3.5 game total of 360 for Cheryl Kneeland. Say hello to Bryan Hebert one more time here. First half of the 4th game. And he'll get a quarter Worcester on the 2 pin. That's Candlepin bowling for you folks. Sometimes that happens. He'll complete the trip to Worcester though, taking out the 8 pin. So, well, he'll complete the one-way trip. If he gets the 3 and the 9, it'll be a full trip to Worcester. And it's a hard-fought 3 box for Bryan Hebert, a box he went to war for. That's about all I have to say about that. Bryan's at 1 strike and 6 spares. Hebert on the head pin that time. Leaves the 2 and the 8 on the deck. 2 and the 8. The 8 is the sleeper behind the 2. And the sleeper stays. He plays the wood in front of the 2, but the 8 pin is safe. And he'll take a 9 box after it's all said and done. So yes, Bryan Hebert is at 12 after 2. That is not a typo, unfortunately. 3 box was a box he put a lot of effort into, but only got 3 out of. First ball here is to the left of the head pin, half Worcester plus the 5. But he spares it up. Runs down the remnants of the half Worcester for a spare, 22 after 3, and a ball. Bryan Hebert working on a spare here. And he certainly takes some pins out for that fill. Not a disaster, but it's a fill of 3. Take a few more out, leaving the 5 and the 7. And then finally, he'll actually clean it up for a 10 box. Great pinning by Bryan. He's at 35 after 4. He can get a mark and a 5 fill. He'll be on pace to match Cheryl Kneeland's 50 half. Hebert. To the right of the head pin, he takes the 3 and the 6 out, leaving everything else. And Hebert sails through the void. Ball went to the same place as the first ball. Can't award the same pins twice. Hebert's on target this time, but he'll leave the 5 and the 8 for an 8 box. That puts him at 43 after 5. It's 43 after 5, down by 7 to Cheryl Kneeland's 50 after 5. 4.5 game total of 326 for Bryan Hebert. 4.5 game total of 360 for Cheryl Kneeland. So now we have Cheryl Kneeland up on the deck on lane 23 at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's great to have you along with us. If you're just joining us, thank you for checking out this Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match between Cheryl Kneeland at Bryan Hebert. And Cheryl is just off to the head pin to the left. 1, 3, 6, 10, 7, 8. 7, 9, excuse me. Cheryl plays the head pin a little bit too light, leaving the 3, 6, and the 10 on the deck. Almost looks as if the spot for the 6 pin or the 3 pin moved, or the pin slid, or something like that happened. And Cheryl will take a 9 box after all is said and done. 59 after 6. Cheryl is 12 for 36 on the head pin today. 3 of those 12 head pin shots up in splits. 1 strike, 8 spares. Totaling 40 in bonus pins on marks. Cheryl's on the head pin, dropping 7. Weird split. It's the 4, 6, 9. Difficult spare leave. Cheryl had the right idea. She wanted to play the right side of the 6 pin, but couldn't quite take out the 4 and the 9. Well, she also missed the 6 pin, regardless. She'll take a stick and leave the goalpost for an 8 box. 67 and 7 for Cheryl Kneeland. Folks, if you live in the area or are willing to live, if you live in the area or are willing to make the pilgrimage, The Candlepin bowling community would absolutely appreciate your interest and visitation. Check out candlepin.org and click Go Bowling to find your nearest center if you'd like to give this unique regional sport a try. And that's Cheryl Kneeland dropping 6, leaving the 1, the 2, the 4, and the 8 on the deck. One, 2, 4, 8 for Kneeland. Oh, and she's on the head pin, but a little bit too light and a little bit off kilter. Just kind of slides it over, and she leaves the 2, the 4, and the 8 on the deck. 7 box minimum for Cheryl Kneeland. It's going to be a 9 box. 76 after 8. That's confirmed. While I have you for a quick moment, so folks, I am bowling on the Mass Holes, which is one of the teams for the 2024 World Invitational Candlepin Championship raffle ticket. 2024 World Invitational Candlepin Championship. We're selling raffle tickets. There'll be a drawing on Monday, November 4th, 2024. It's a pretty big pot of prizes, 6,500 to be exact. And anyways, I'll pause for that for a moment. That's nearly a strike by Cheryl Kneeland. The 8 pin is wiggling. It doesn't go. It's caressed. It's convinced to stay back up by its 2 wingman pins around it, if that made any sense. Cheryl Kneeland for the spare, and will it go? It will. Cheryl Kneeland, 86 and a ball after 9. Anyways, to finish my thoughts, so yes, it's $6,500 in prizes for the drawing on November 4th. If you're willing to put in for a raffle ticket and also support the teams that are bowling, if you put a Venmo in to me at Skelly and just include your message, name, address, city, state, zip, and phone number, so I can just physically write it on the card, I'll put you in for a raffle ticket, and I'd appreciate if you were interested. So check it out. Cheryl Kneeland, meanwhile, on the head pin for a 9 fill. Single pin spare. On the 3 pin. Cheryl Kneeland on a 3 pin. Single pin spare leave. She fires. And she misses. The ball actually would have been a great head pin shot if this were a different box and an opening ball. So Cheryl, I believe, is at 95 and 9. And it's going to be a 104 with that extra 9. So it's going to be 104 for Cheryl Kneeland, a 4-game total of 414. Cheryl Kneeland is requiring Bryan Hebert to have a 61.5 to tie and a 62.5 or greater to win the 4th game. Hebert's on the head pin with a split and a head pin shot. The 4-5-7 on the deck. I would play the wood to the right of the 5 to sweep over to the 4 and the 7. Just ignore that wood in the gutter. Bryan will try to sweep, and it's the right idea, but I think it was a little bit too off-center, too low, he said. And the wood in the gutter deflects. He'll take a 9 box, 52 after 6 for Bryan Hebert. Four boxes to go. Hebert to the right of the head pin, but pin's still falling. It might be a backdoor strike. Almost. It's a game of maybe, maybe, maybe down there. So he didn't connect with the head pin, but he got a 9 drop, leaving the 2 pin, and the 2 pin almost went. Almost a rare situation where you get a strike not off the head pin. Hebert will miss the single. Hebert will take a 10 box. Something about missing the 2nd and getting the 3rd and owing Paul Grant $1. You know, something like that. Hebert's 14 for 37 on the head pin. 5 of those head pin shots have been splits. Hebert gets by to the right of the head pin. One, 5, 2, 7, 8, 9. And Hebert's just to the left of the head pin, leaving the 1, the 5, the 8, and the 9. 6 box minimum. Hebert will clean up for a 9, the best he can. 71 after 8. Hebert 1 strike 7 spare so far. Totaling 31 in bonus pins on fills. Hebert's on the head pin. Again, these wiggly pins that almost fall but don't. It's the 4 and the 8. Spare leave. Piece of wood in between the 4 and the 8. Bryan is a little bit too much to the right of the wood, takes out the 8, leaves the 4. Hebert will take a 9 box. 80 and 9. Hebert to the right of the head pin. Nothing doing on that shot. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Second ball's a little bit better, but still off the head pin to the left by a little bit, leaving the 1 and the 9 on the deck. Cheryl will take the 4th game. And Hebert will take an 8 box for 88 in the 4th. Hebert only has 2 points so far. Cheryl Kneeland at 6 and counting. 4-game total of 371 for Bryan Hebert and a 4-game total of 414 for Cheryl Kneeland. You're watching the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, entering the 5th and final game, which is worth 6 points. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. Great to have you along with us. The 5th and final game is worth 6 points because you can take 2 points for the game, and it's your last chance to make your final stand for the total, which is within 43 points. 43 pins, I mean. Cheryl Kneeland currently has that lead. Cheryl is slightly off target, but drops a lot of pins except for the middle ones. The 1, the 5, the 3, the 8, and the 9 are on the deck. Cheryl will miss the head pin and leave only the head pin. And Cheryl will take 9 after 1. So folks, if you want to donate to a great cause for bowlers in need of cancer treatments or financial assistance, check out candlepinsforcancer.com. You can either donate or you can sign up for roll-offs to show up on the Candlepins for Cancer finals for whatever roll-offs or tournaments or contests that are going on. Currently, I believe it's the NE doubles that will be at the Big 20 Bowling Center. The roll-offs are ongoing. Sign up for roll-offs on the website if you're interested. Candlepinsforcancer.com. That's Candlepins number 4, cancer.com. That's Cheryl Kneeland's. Not on target, but drops 5. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10 are on the deck. And Kneeland is slightly off target once again. Don't like to repeat myself too often, but I feel like I've been saying that a lot this match. Cheryl's looking at a 7 box minimum. It's 10 box maximum. Kneeland on the 1-6-10, and she'll sail through where the 3-pin was for a 7 box. Puts Cheryl Kneeland at 16 after 2. Kneeland is 15 for 42 on head pins. 6 of those 15 head pin shots have pin splits. Kneeland on target on the 1-3 pocket. And nearly a strike. Late falling pins results in just the 8 pin on the deck with some wood around it. Kneeland fires and gets deflected away from a mark. Kneeland for the 10 box, and she'll miss it twice for a 9 box, 25 after 3 for Cheryl Kneeland. Cheryl has averaged 4.9 pins per fill out of the 10 marks she's bowled today. Cheryl Kneeland on the pocket, quick dropping 6. It's the 2, the 4, the 7, and the 8 on the deck. Kneeland is on the operative wood and the operative pin, but leaves the 4 and the 8 on the deck. And she'll take 9. Third 9 of the half, 34 after 4 for Cheryl Kneeland. Kneeland is off to the right of the head pin. One, 2, 4, 7, 9, 10 are on the deck. Cheryl is off target, takes the 9 out, and only the 9. 1, 2, 4, 7, 10 are what she's shooting at for a 10 box, 5 box minimum. And Kneeland will take a 7. First half will be 41 for Cheryl Kneeland. 4.5 game total of 455 for Cheryl Kneeland. 1 strike, 9 spares, 17 for 45 on the head pin. And we'll say hello to Bryan Hebert now. Starting right off. And he's just a little off target to the right. Right side half Worcester, 3 and the 9 on the deck. This time Hebert's on the head pin, but a little bit too full. 4, 6, 2, 7, 10 on the deck. And he's going to take a 5 box after all is said and done. Hebert 1 strike, 7 spares for the day. Out of those 8 marks, he has totaled 31 in fills, averaging 3.9 per fill. He's on the left of the head pin. 1, 3, 6, 10, 9 are on the deck. Hebert's right on the head pin, but he leaves the 6. Hebert will take a 10 box. 15 after 2. For Mr. Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert is a secondary manufacturing lead at Microspec Corporation, which produces medical tubing and focuses on extrusion technology. Bryan manages a team of folks who help produce these parts. Bryan for the spare, and he almost gets it, leaves the 8 pin on the deck. Previously, Bryan worked at Supreme as a technical coordinator. And Bryan will go for the 9 box, and the wood will deflect the ball. And the wood will not play nice for 24 after 3 with that 9 box. Bryan is great at rigging up audio equipment and providing recommendations for microphones and such. He studied communications at Keene State College. Bryan lemon drops the right side with the 6 pin down. Bryan's on the head pin, but leaves the 3, 7, 10. But Bryan will clean up for a 10 box, 34 after 4. 8 marks for the day for Bryan Hebert. Compare that to 10 marks for Cheryl Kneeland. 34% head pin percentage for Hebert. Compare that to Cheryl Kneeland's 38. And Hebert's off the right of the head pin with the 4 horse on left side and the 8 pin on the deck. Hebert will chop one more out. No mark. And he'll take one more out for an 8 box for 42 after 5 for Bryan Hebert Jr. 4.5 game total of 413 for Bryan Hebert. 4.5 game total of 455 for Cheryl Kneeland. That's her score update. Bryan leads the game by 1. Cheryl is in the total, up by 42. So Bryan has a lot of ground to make up for to hope to take the 4 points for total. So here we are in the final half of the 5th game here. We'll start with Cheryl Kneeland on lane 23 at Lakeside Lanes. On the head pin, she drops 9 off the bat. 10 pin and 10 pin only. Single pin spare opportunity for Cheryl Kneeland. Cheryl thinking long and hard about this shot. Still thinking. Still thinking about it. Here we go. Cheryl fires on the single. And the wood will guide it in for a spare. 51 and a ball after 6 for Cheryl Kneeland. Cheryl, that's her 10th spare of the match. Totaling, she's averaging 4.5 in terms of fills today. Kneeland to the left of the head pin. It's a 4 fill. And Kneeland connects with the head pin and almost takes everything out, leaving the 6. No mark for Cheryl Kneeland. Cheryl will take a 9 box though. Cheryl at 64 after 7. She's off to the right of the head pin. One, two, three, 4, 5, 7. That's what's on the deck. Piece of wood towards the back. And Kneeland tries to clean up, but she leaves the 1 and the 3 on the deck. No mark. Kneeland for an 8, 9, or 10. She'll take a 9 for 73 after 8. So folks, since we are in the final half of the final game, we'll just say a couple of things here to start the closeout ceremonies here. I want to thank our ACST League Commissioner Danny Finn and our Class E Treasurer Maurice Perry. These folks keep the ACST running smoothly as it goes. And I want to thank Micah Imperato for crunching the ACST stats and numbers every week, or after every match some days. Bryan Hebert for advice and direction on some stuff about the broadcast, helping me out. He happens to be bowling today as well, so thank you, Bryan. Staff at Lakeside Lanes, always a pleasure. And of course, viewers like you, always want to thank you for watching. Wouldn't do this without you. And Cheryl will take a 7-box in the 9th. With 1 to go. Cheryl Kneeland, lane 23. To the right of the head pin. It's the 4-6-1-10 on the deck. Kneeland tries to play it, but the wood and the ball don't exactly deflect in the way they should, leaving the 6 and the 10, 8, 9, or 10 box for Cheryl Kneeland. That'll be an 8 for Cheryl. That'll be 88 in 10 for Cheryl Kneeland. That's a 5-game total of 502 for Cheryl Kneeland. Bryan Hebert now, he's off to the right of the head pin with a 1 drop. Remedial second ball is a spare for Bryan Hebert. Spares it up 52 after 6. So after a misfire of a first ball, Bryan is trying incredibly hard to clear a piece of wood out of the gutter. And yeah. Anyways, so Bryan Hebert's at 52 and a ball in the 6th. Starting out strong. First mark of the game. Hebert's on the head pin. 6 drop, 7 drop. 59 after 6. Oops. 3, 6, 9. And it'll play just a little bit too much to the right. Take out the 6 and the 9, leaving the 3. Hebert for the 10 box. He'll take that 10 box. 69 and 7. Hebert 1 strike, 8 spares for the day so far. 16 out of 47 for the head pin. And Hebert off to the right of the head pin again, taking out the right back corner. No fire on the head pin a little bit too full though, leaving the 4 and the 7 on the deck. I'll take an 8 box, 77 after 8 for Bryan Hebert. So I want to thank you folks for watching this Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour Class E North match. I hope this was a pleasant viewing experience for you. Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire. Come check out this place if you're in the area. That's a head pin shot for Bryan Hebert and a 6 drop, 4, 5, 2, 8 on the deck. Hebert on the diamond, you can't quite clear it. Diamond wins again, the 5 pin remains on the deck. And Hebert will take a 9 box, 86 in 9. And we're just about to wrap up here. Hebert on the head pin with a 9 drop. On the 5 pin. Single pin spare for Bryan Hebert. Opportunity here. And he'll take it. Spare for Bryan Hebert, 96 in the ball. He will take the 5th game. But the total will go to Cheryl, as it is insurmountable at this point. Bryan's final ball, and the final ball of the match will be an 8 fill. That will put him at 10. Apparently that was Oh, okay. My apologies. Apparently, fifth box was actually a 7. Always appreciate the verification. All right, so now I think we are all set. We are in sync with the scoreboard. 103 for Bryan Hebert in the fifth. 5-game total of 474 to Cheryl Kneeland's 502. And that will just about do it. Cheryl Kneeland will take 10 points over Bryan Hebert's 4 points. And that will just be about it for us at Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire. I've been Steve Kelly, and for Cheryl Kneeland and Bryan Hebert, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and the rest of the day, whatever it is. We'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Have a great one, everybody.